to see the video live streaming right now, but also you can hear us on SoundCloud, on YouTube, on iTunes. Hopefully subscribing to all those, because good things are happening. I'm gonna jump right into it because Violent Love is a comic that recently not recently came out, it's been out for a while. The latest issue recently came out, and it's an ongoing series from Image Comics. And dude, I'm very enamored with this one. I sent it out to the group. I was hoping to have a whole group thing, and apparently y'all left me hanging.
I read some of it. I thought it was good for what I read. I mean, you're going to have the more in-depth review of it, but I mean, I thought it was great. It was a nice little throwback, kind of like a Bonnie and Clyde sort of story. I got caught up in the opening, in the backstory is what I got caught up in. It was pretty good from what I saw. I mean, girl named Daisy going through her life, struggling with whether or not she should go to college. She's hating her life. Her pops are trying to walk her through, try to understand that, life's not easy. You got to take opportunities we could get them. And I'm assuming at some point she links up with this guy and they just start running roughshod. So go ahead, Pete. Keep it going.
Well, yeah, no, I'm very enamored with this. It's the story of it's like a Bonnie and Clyde type story with a bunch of twists and turns it throws at you, which is good. The concept is, or it seems as it goes on, to be more about people around them that influence their behavior, and it gets wild. I'm loving this book. I'm plain and simple. It's moving the crap. It's a very delightful read. And I'm very surprised because it seems like your standard. Well, you got a bank robbing team of criminals, and they're harassing the local law enforcement people, and they face. It's like none of that. This could be some Tarantino stuff, and it's gritty. Like that's what I didn't expect. I didn't expect parts of it to be raw.
And I mean, I guess that's my fault for only being in the first half of it, exposing my naivete. It has the appearance of a Tarantino, what could be a Tarantino film easily, but the dialogue at this point seems very hokey. Seems like 90s, like you said, these rascals are robbing banks and wreaking havoc, and it's kind of like, I'm losing interest at this point. But the imagery, there's definitely a lot more gore than I was anticipating. Like the gore versus the dialogue is not matching up at this point. So I'm assuming it picks up based upon what you're saying. Yeah,
it definitely does. And you got to read a lot more. You got to read more into it because it is one of those stories where it does suffer from a couple of the random tropes that comics do sometimes, especially indie comics, which is unfortunate because it starts off with an origin story. It gives a little taste of the action, but then it goes off into how these characters got where they are, who they are. And that's really a fault of a story that relies on you to care about the characters because we don't know who these people are yet. So if I hadn't decided to stick with it and get to the nitty gritty, it's like, this was a cool panel, but not enough to keep me going. That's unfortunate because when it does pick up, it is just raw. And I appreciate that lack of limitation. It's a book with balls, basically. I'm kind of impressed. Yeah, dude, plain and simple, man. I mean, there's like sex scenes, there's random. It's not obscene for the sake of being obscene. Right. It's not vulgar.
Right.
Dialogue is somewhat realistic. And you mentioned it's hokey. I'm not sure if you were fully aware that it takes place in the past.
It does. It does. I caught that.
So the language seems like it's hokey 60s language because it's in the 60s, brother. It's like, I mean, they're not coming in, well, gee willikers, Mr. Carruthers. That's not what we talk about here. Although if they
waiting for it though.
You waiting for the G Willikers, Mr.
Yes, I was. I was waiting for it. I was waiting for some kid with a slingshot in his back pocket. I was waiting for it.
No, this isn't Scooby Doo with the face. It's like, oh man, it was old man Winters from the old abandoned amusement park, and they pull off. Why the hell were there so many abandoned amusement parks in the 60s?
It's always abandoned amusement parks. I don't know why.
Abandoned amusement park. Someone living in a house that's plainly old and haunted. Like that house in, if you've seen the new It, they got the house perfectly set up so that it's like as they walk in, Scooby and the gang are walking out. Got the gang with Dune Buggy riding around the side of the sucker.
I'm pretty sure times were hard back then, fam. Because you say, why all these amusement parks? Same reason why we got all these abandoned parking lots right now. Why we got all these abandoned just arid patches of grass. It's like no one's gonna mow that long.
Boston Mafia action takes it down. I see what you're saying. I see what you're getting at,
don't bring the heat over here, man. I got nothing but love for the mob. Leave me alone, man. I ain't doing nothing to nobody. I ain't snitching.
I mean, aren't you part of the God Squad? That's a mob in itself, my man. You got backup. You got worldwide coverage. What you afraid of?
I'm on a mission. A mission from God.
He's a missionary on a mission. He's a missionary on a mission. You better start listening.
I am feeling this. I'm sorry. It's just been a minute. I'm just really impressed with what's going on with with WEMF. After you badmouth EMF on our Facebook Live, get on our Facebook, the Geek Down Facebook, where I just posted a live stream of us doing our pre-show prep, and Pat was just going in about how the studio isn't up to snuff here at WEMF. Dog. But I am impressed with this flat screen. I'm able to see the video that we're gonna have when we actually do the Metroid Samus Returns review in a minute.
Yeah, that's all really very impressed. Pretty and nice. Yet while we're doing this live review, I put my hand in like this beer they spilled all over the table. Man, gonna tell me about. Yeah, look at this, man. Look at this. It got scraps. This looks like a Philly. It looks like Philly scraps, dog. Philly scraps. You got bottle caps all over the sucker. Beer just here. They didn't even wipe it up. They just like put a piece of paper on it. This looks like a fly or something. Man, yo, they clowning. I hating. And then they put stickers on the piano. This uncouth, I tell you.
I'm with you on that one.
Thank you. Shenanigans are gonna be consequences, repercussions from of. Man, anyways, back to, seriously. Well, anyways, the comic we were talking about was Violent Love, and as I was saying, I was feeling the story. The artwork really moved me. There are a couple of panels that really kind of take you out of it when I realized what was happening. I will say this is the upper echelon for indie style art. Comics, this is like some of the best you can hope for, which is pretty good often, and not like I'm not talking comics with crazy budgets and it's all CG and it's all done on computers and stuff. There's hand drawn art in here, which is cool, but you can tell they also tried to be really artistic with it, which is something that like seasoned comic artists do, and sometimes it really works out, but also a lot of times it leaves the panels kind of confused. Like there was a scene with a car wreck in here that could have in the first issue, and that could have been real dope. But the way they had it framed, it's like you see the car wreck in the background, and then they got these panels, not panels, these like these little blocks, image blocks, like kind of like pasted on top. And you see like someone's reaction over here and someone's reaction over there. That'd be cool, except it's taken away from the actual action. So I didn't know. All I know is these cars are wrecked. I didn't know how. After the fact, if this dude hadn't said in the dialogue, I'd have thought, they may as well just like hit an invisible wall. It's like, well, what happened to the car? I don't know. Must have been ghosts. We got gremlins in the engine. I don't know what's happening. But besides that, that's a nitpick, man. That's like some real moderate stuff. I was really enjoying this, and I would recommend it to anybody. It's out by Image Comics right now. It's an ongoing series. So Image 8 was the one that we checked out most recently, and then went back and read the previous 7. It is by, I got the thing up on here. It is by Frank J. Barbary and Barbary, Barbiere. So you try to pronounce it correctly and tell me I'm a sucker. All right, and Victor Santos. And it's just one of the better reads I've had this year. I'm really enjoying it. I recommend anybody check it out. It's called Violent Love, dude, from Image Comics. Highly recommend it. 2 thumbs up. Well, a thumbs up from me. Jay?
I'll give it a thumbs up. It was good.
All right, 2 thumbs up. Okay, now I'm going to turn it over to my man, Just